Hey guys, Stooge here with a video talking about the Solasta 2 demo. I'm not sure how many people actually expected the announcement of Solasta 2 when it came, I think at the end of last year, but it was a great surprise and I personally was really excited about what I saw in the trailer. Solasta 1 was a game that I was interested in because I love CRPGs and had heard good things about, and I ended up playing around 10 to 12 hours when there was a free weekend on Steam for it, but I never bought the game because it didn't quite click with me. I did hear that each subsequent DLC that was released made the game better, so I was quite excited about the announcement of Solasta 2 and hoping that Tactical Adventures would carry that momentum through. One of the biggest issues with Solasta 1 was the graphics, and this is much improved in Solasta 2. The character models are looking pretty good, and the animations are also a lot better compared to what I remember of Solasta 1. The environment is also quite detailed, and if you zoom the camera in, leading to characters being hidden behind objects, the character gets highlighted, which is a really nice touch. Exploration can be quite rewarding, and I like that interacting with some environmental objects can lead to discussions among party members, explaining a bit of lore, or just having some banter with each other. There are also vistas that show off scenic locations or prompt a party member to allude to a viewed location being important to a quest. So I think the vista mechanic has a lot of potential, and I'm hoping that it gets used to reward players for exploration. Whether it's revealing Fog of War, explaining a bit of lore, or maybe as an alternative to unlocking secrets, I think there are some neat things that could be done with vistas that can make exploration more compelling. The only issue with exploration in the demo is that the gameplay felt very linear. After a rest to progress the story, additional areas did open up, so I'm hoping this is carried through to other parts of the game and that there is some variation to the size of the maps as well. Combat in Solasta 2 is quite good and does exactly what you expect it to do out of the box for a game based on D&D. Playing through the demo, you encounter a few different races like Half-Orcs, Sicklas, which I think is a homebrew race, and kobolds amongst the standard humanoid races. There are also fights against crabs and corrupted Sicklas, so I'm hoping that we'll get some good enemy variety in combat. The demo also showcased that there will be some interesting mechanics in fights that will spice things up. There was a fight where a hostile object was constantly spawning enemy crabs every round on top of the enemies that were already in the fight. And the final fight of the demo involved having to use a main action on a character to delay a volatile explosive while fighting incoming waves of enemies and avoiding terrain that was being destroyed each round. So it does seem like some fights will require a bit of strategy, which is really good. I also remember a fight in Solasta 1 that took place on a site that had 3 or 4 levels of verticality, which was a completely new battlefield dynamic to me. So I hope that Tactical Adventures brings that forward in Solasta 2. Between that battlefield in Solasta 1 and the in-fight combat mechanics showcased in the Solasta 2 demo, I'm excited to see what else the devs are going to do with combat moving forward. The combat UI is a bit hit and miss for me. I don't necessarily like that the UI is a bit of a layered menu system because it means a lot of extra clicks to do what you want to do. But I can understand why they did it that way for organizational purposes. Having said that, I do like that this system means that main actions and bonus actions are clearly separated, so it's a lot harder to accidentally use the wrong action. Maybe I don't like this kind of UI because I'm not used to actual UI being this way, but there are some big changes, at least for me, that I'm not used to, like the minimap being in the bottom right corner of the screen and the quick saves success notification appearing on the bottom of the minimap. So I fully admit this might just be me needing to customize and adjust to the new changes to the UI. The thing I do like about the UI is that dice rolling results have a lot more information about what is happening in the message log. I think the dice roll animation for skill checks in dialogue can be a bit more obvious rather than just a small animation at the top of the screen. Whether it's making the dice rolling graphic bigger or a bit more in the middle of the screen, I think it's just a bit too off to the side in its current state. The tooltips for spells and skills on the combat UI or character sheet are fine, but some tooltips associated with the message log can get a bit wordy, so hopefully there's an option to condense it a little bit once the player has a better grasp of what is going on in the game. Personally, I like how the character sheet is presented and that it's very good at showing all the important information related to your characters, especially showing where you are getting bonuses from and what the actual numerical values of those bonuses are. As far as the inventory UI goes, I'm not really a big fan, and inventory UIs have always been a problem in CRPGs. As far as Solasta 2 goes, for me the icons in the inventory are a bit too big for my liking, and in CRPGs where there is a lot of loot, feels like there will be a lot of scrolling once the inventory starts filling up. I'm also not sure about each character having their own inventory, as I feel like inventory management will start to get very tedious if you are looking for a specific item in a filled up inventory across all 4 characters. So I don't know if there's a really good and elegant solution, as it's a persistent problem in CRPGs, but I guess we'll see how it goes once early release rolls around. Having covered what's in the demo, there are a couple of things that aren't, and the big one is character creation. In Solasta 1, you created every character in your party, so I assume this will be the same for Solasta 2. In the demo, you play with a pre-made party that has a little bit of a backstory to the characters, so I don't know if the content is part of the campaign story or if it's just specific for the demo itself. The other major thing that is in the game, but I didn't really see any opportunity to interact with, is the faction mechanic. This was something I quite liked in Solasta 1, and based on the quest log, it seems like the devs are bringing it to Solasta 2, so I'm interested to see how they are going to implement this. Overall, I think Solasta 2 looks very promising. Compared to Solasta 1, the graphics are a big upgrade, and I think the writing is improved as well. My understanding is that Tactical Adventures is looking at releasing in early access this year, so if you are interested in Solasta 2, I'll have a link to their Steam page in the description so you can wishlist it if you want to. Thanks a lot for checking out my demo impressions video, and if you enjoyed hearing my thoughts, feel free to hit the subscribe button and drop a like on the video. Hope you have a good one.